Hey, what's good? My name's Runnin, and I'm back with another tool for y'all FL Studio people. Imagine if you could send unlimited notes into any VST instrument of your choosing. That's kind of what I set out to do with this newest patcher rack that I made. It's called MIDI-LFO, and it essentially lets a sine wave, saw wave, or even like a randomized wave, a noise wave, decide what notes are sent through your instrument. And then from that point, you can kind of snap to any key that you choose, and you can even quantize it to your project's tempo. So let's check it out. This is MIDI LFO, and so I'll give you guys a rundown of the different sections of it so that you understand what's going on. First section is the type. That's the LFO type. This is your init preset, your preset that it starts out with, and it sounds like this. And then, so you have custom waveform and a bunch of other ones here. We'll actually start with sine wave, and then you have triangle, and then you have saw, and then you have inverted saw, and then you have square wave, noise, and then custom waveform. So this is where your custom waveform is inside the map. It says draw custom LFO, and then you can go in and you can click input mapping, and it'll pull up this section here. And what essentially it's doing is it's using this now as your LFO. I drew it in as like going upwards in different patterns, but you can really draw anything you want in here, and it should sync to whatever the speed you have it set at. So that's the type. Speed is obvious. This little button here actually quantizes the speed to your project's tempo. So, let's say like 30-second notes or 16th notes or 8th notes, etc. So that's helpful. If I wanted to turn things off and let you guys see what this one does, it sounds like this. All right, and then drift actually is the amount that the note output deviates from the incoming LFO note. So you can actually get really crazy, kind of creepy sounds when you pull in the drift. And then this part is also important. It's the range. So that is from midpoint on your MIDI, how deep of a range it goes from bottom to top. And then you have your lowest note and highest note from here. And you can select, how high up you want it to go. And these can all be automated as well. So you can kind of like switch up your progression based on the lowest and highest note and stuff to get some more variation going. So that's kind of how that works. And then the sync at the end here is, for the nerds, it's a sample and hold. So what it's doing is it's picking based off your project's tempo. It's selecting certain notes on grid, only the on grid notes based on whatever you have selected here, and then holding that note out until the next bar, or the next count measure, like 30-second notes or eighth notes, etc. So this is helpful for if you wanted to actually draw and not just do resampling, to actually like do it in your piano MIDI. It'll snap to your grid so that it's like all on beat for like project creation and shit. And then the last section here is scale and root, and then offsetting, aka transposing it. So right now we're in C minor pentatonic. And then if I wanted to switch it, let's say we wanted to work in D, then we have it in D. Or Neapolitan. You get the idea. And then offset is really helpful because then you can use transposing to also vary your progression up a little bit as well. So like, let's just say I wanted to like do maybe something like this. And then let's go to minor pentatonic. You know, I could hit like the next note up, or I could go to a seventh. So it just helps kind of creating different chords, basically. And then the last section here is in options with some quick tips and stuff. The pitch envelope is really where you start getting experimental and start creating more like effects-based and noise-based things rather than like actual notes. So here's an example. This one I have, it's called Dizzy, and it's pitching up things and pitching down after notes are hit, and it sounds like a cartoon dizzy effect. So, and I just set the lowest and highest note to make it match there, but really what it's doing is the envelope starts at midpoint at like 0% envelope, and then you can go plus or negative to affect the MIDI note and pitch bend it so that it goes upward or downward based on this attack, decay, sustain, release. And then the pan and velocity chaos is essentially like a humanize feature. It's inside here under level scaler, VFX level scaler, and there's a humanize function. So so what that does is just randomly pans per note to the left or right. And then same with velocity chaos. It's kind of like changing the velocity of each note randomly so that you get some more variation going on. So that's how that works. Here's another example of how to use this section. The sine riser one is really sick. You can kind of make your own risers in here with this and even sync it. So and I think in this one it's like sync to 1/32. So this is what it sounds like. But if you don't want it synced, then you could just click off on this, and you could even change the speed of it if you want, but you get the idea. We go slower. We could even put it on grid. Let's go. So that's how that works. You can also get even more experimental with this because this is just one lane of MIDI. So now that we have randomized notes and crazy stuff happening, you could do that on the top end, and then you could even like add in a sub underneath it for some really crazy bass sounds and stuff. And so that is like, let's see. And so that is best demonstrated with, let's say, this one, Pentatab. So we have a more complex chain going on here, but essentially we've got a sub 3-os and then another top end 3-os going through the LFO. The sub's just getting the regular note, and then it's going into some OTT and just you know, some like distortion, light distortion kind of stuff. But after the fact, you kind of get something like this. So now you got a beefy ass sub underneath, and it's all quantized and ready to go, like for your project. Like you can switch the key, you can offset it. And then, you know, that's just one version. This is on custom, so you could even draw in a new LFO if you wanted. And right now it looks like this, but you could go maybe upwards with it and maybe have it kind of like warp. Who knows? You get the idea. So that's how this works. That's how you would do a bass sound. And then I got a little bit more experimental with some of these other presets. The minor chords one is actually really cool. So if you are comfortable messing around with the map section, you can actually change these keys out inside VFX Key Mapper. You can change what you want to be the keys to be on the scale section. And so I pulled up natural minor and I used the preset chords, I believe minor progression. And so now you can actually hit full chords through your VST and at like randomized values. So like this one is a little bit more advanced because of that, but it's going through GMS just like a standard preset, just like softy TE it says. So it's, you know, nothing crazy. It's just like a little minor progression chords, and you can change the speed of it and everything, but right now it's just set specifically to the project tempo. The last crazy thing that you can do with this plugin is I figured it out. So now you can actually route all the MIDI into your piano roll and record it so that you can edit it after the fact. That's the most exciting part about this. So like if I wanted these chords, I really like these chords, I would just go in, draw in the note so that it triggers the whole way. So it's on beat right now, you know, a little bit of a syncopation going on. What you would do is you would just right click here, burn MIDI to current pattern. And then it loads up, it renders, and then you have your chords. There they are. So now that we have our chords, we can switch this to any instrument we wanted. If we wanted to like copy them and put them into Serum or whatever, like, so be it. Wait, hold on a second. Apologies, I am missing a note. There we go. So now that we have them in here, sounds good. Now we can edit them a little bit more, you know, bring them on grid and fix it up. Sweet. And now maybe we can change the preset of this of Serum. You know, we can pick some other like chords or something. Now we got a whole new thing. You know, you can do this with noise, you can do this with anything, but yeah. So that's MIDI-LFO, and it's on my Patreon now if you want to check it out. The pack comes with 30 main presets and then 30 from the beta that I made with some friends. So 60 presets in all, and another like little sound pack of some of the presets that I made as well, just so you want them in like audio format. And yeah, I'm gonna be working on this a little bit more, probably come out with another version soon, but right now it's pretty fun to mess with. So let me know if you guys have any questions, and yeah, get on my Patreon. Peace, y'all. Till next time.